His MVP. Golf swing, right field. Forget about it. Rangers strike first. Goes after the first one. Drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb into first. One swing. Drive. It's tied. Seager smashes the ball down the line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field, way back there. Shot again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Texas Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a thrilling 6-4 victory. Wyatt Langford with the late inning heroics, big 2-run blast, freaking missile off the bat helps the Rangers take a close one. 6-4 was 4-4, knotted up there for a couple of innings. The kid with the late inning drama, giving the Rangers a victory and the third series win of the season, third series win in a row. We'll take it. We're going to get into everything here in just a little bit, go through a recap of the game, talk about the box score, highlight some performances for you. Of course, take all of your comments and questions along the way. But first, y'all know the drill here, Right on Rangers. We cover everything sports. But we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers, and especially the Rangers during the MLB season. Thank you for choosing Right on Rangers for all of your Texas Rangers content. Let's start with the kid. Let's start with Wyatt Langford. I don't know what other adjectives you can use to describe this kid beyond what's already been used, but I'll start with incredible. Wyatt, 1 for 3 on the evening tonight with the walk. Of course, the hit being the game-winning RBIs. Wyatt Langford with an absolute missile off the bat. I mean, let's check out some of the advanced stats on this thing. Wyatt, of course, comes up in the bottom of the 7th inning. After Kevin Pillar had gotten on base, stolen second, you had actually a really disappointing sequence before this Langford homer. Kevin Pillar steals second base. There's an error, allows him to advance to third. Then you've got your two best hitters, supposedly, up to bat. Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. You've got two chances with a runner on third base, less than 2 outs. Marcus Semien strikes out. Corey Seager strikes out as well. And I was a little bit despondent at that point. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. You had Marcus Semien and Corey Seager at that point with an opportunity to drive in the go-ahead run. You had Marcus with no outs. All you got to do is put the ball in play. Put the ball in play. I mean, Marcus, I know his strikeout occurred before the stolen base, but with Corey especially, put the ball in play. I mean, that was painful, watching those two guys whiff back-to-back. Corey, you strike out on a slider in the zone. It was a little surprising to me, but I think kind of told you a lot how at least the Rays view Corey Seager right now. There's a base open, and you come right at him. I mean, you look at these pitches with Corey Seager going into that at-bat in the 7th inning. There were 4 out of 5 pitches right there in the zone on Corey. It's not even like they were trying to get Corey to nibble at all. I just think it's a little indicative of where Siegs is at right now. Clearly, Rays are catching him at a time when he is not at his best, hitting 167 on the year, 2 strikeouts tonight. They came right at Corey, and he was not able to put the ball in play to get that go-ahead run. So Wyatt Langford comes up, 2 outs. And you look at his at-bat pitch by pitch. Look, third pitch, he gets a fastball middle in, a little bit down, and does not miss it. Third pitch of the at-bat. Again, pretty much came right at Wyatt. 2 out of the 3 pitches right there. Wyatt got basically 2 identical fastballs. The first one he missed. And I think they got a little bit greedy thinking that they were going to get Wyatt on that same pitch again. I mean, you look at those pitches, the first pitch and the third pitch, which he hits for the home run right there. You obviously could tell they thought that they were going to get Wyatt and blow that fastball right by him again. Didn't happen. Wyatt, 110 miles an hour off the bat and sends it right over that fence. I don't think that got very high off the ground at all. 23-degree launch angle, 111 off the bat. Wyatt was the hero tonight, no doubt. I really am glad that Wyatt comes through because that was such a depressing sequence before Wyatt comes up to bat with Simi and with Seager both going down, striking out. The kid, right? The legend in the making, Wyatt Langford, winning the game for Texas tonight. 6-4 victory. Those were the only runs that Texas would need to slam the door. Bullpen, late inning guys come in and do a job. We'll talk a little bit later on about Jacob deGrom, but the bullpen guys, you had Garcia. He gets 1 out, a big out after Jacob Webb had come in and was going on his second inning of work. Jacob Webb, technically no runs allowed. He does give up one of the inherited runners, does allow one of them to score, but otherwise no earned runs for any of the bullpen guys tonight. Garcia, Martin, Jackson just continues to cook. Luke Jackson, no strikeouts, 1 hit allowed. Otherwise, a pretty easy inning. And same thing for Chris Martin, 1 strikeout, no base runners. I said it when I was posting live throughout the game. Chris Martin has got to be, for me, the guy that I feel the least anxiety when he comes out to pitch. I know that Jackson is closing ball games right now. I do not feel even a teeny ounce of anxiety, fear, worry when Chris Martin is in the ball game. And he just continues to do what he's been doing all 8 games, all 9 games, I'm sorry, which is throw up zeros. Got to hand it to the last 3 inning guys, the 7, 8, 9 guys. They are really cooking and doing good things this year. I think that there's some questions in the middle innings, the 6th inning, the 7th inning, but these guys in the 7th, 8th, 9th, Garcia, Martin, Jackson, I don't think there's a lot you can really nitpick or complain about at this point. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and get some comments right now, and we will start going into all those. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Jacob deGrom. Didn't quite get to him in my opening, but let's see what we got. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to everybody that has followed so far on the live. Thought the Rangers really were in a tough spot there after the game had been tied. I kind of could see the game going either way, but resilient. Glad that they were able to pull out the win in the late innings. Look, you win these tight ball games late. I said it in the Red Sox series when they were winning the 1-run games. It only builds confidence for later on. I mean, law of averages. I don't know how lucky the Rangers are going to be in these 1-run games throughout the entire season, but it's good to get these tight wins now. It only helps condition you for later on when it matters more. We keep on going. Yeah, 110 miles an hour off the bat. I definitely was impressed seeing those stats when you got 100, 101, whatever it was on the inside half of the plate. That bat speed is elite. Wyatt Langford, that bat speed is elite. They thought they were going to get him. They did it to him in the first pitch of the at-bat. Tried to come in on the hands with that 100-mile-an-hour cheddar. He whiffed at it. They thought they were going to get him again, and he was ready. Absolutely love it. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Just catching up on as many comments as I can, and then I'll head on over to YouTube. Say what's up to all y'all. TikTok sent me all the way to the bottom. Hate it when it does that, but we'll scroll back a little bit. Rain, of course, we had to get some haters in the chat. Rangers still going to lose the division. All right. Keep willing that into existence. It's not looking great right now. Seager is struggling right now. Luke, what's good, man? Thanks for tuning in. Liking Berger. Let's see what Berg's stat line was. We know that he had the bomb, obviously, 3 RBI, 1 for 4 on the night with the 3-run homer. There were some people that were definitely complaining a little bit about Berger and the performance so far. Look, it's a splash. It's a splash in the pond at this point. I mean, Berger, home run tonight. You definitely like him getting going, leaving the yard. I definitely think this is going to be a moment where maybe we look back and that's the start of Jake Berger's tear in the 2025 season. I sure hope so. I'm going to speak that into existence. But Jake Berger, we know he's doing it well with the glove out there, but to see him go yard today, bases not quite loaded. I think a couple runners on. Yep, doing the mental math in my head. Sorry, not always quick on my feet on the math game, but yes, 3-run homer. There would be a couple guys on base, wouldn't there? So we've got Berger hopefully turning a little bit of a corner. The average still not great at 129, but we know that there's quite a bit of time left in the season. Over 150 games to be exact. Nice to see Jake Berger having a good day at the plate. Can't wait until Jock gets his first homer of the year. Think it's coming soon. Yeah, I think that Jock, the torpedo bat's not quite producing results for him. We know Jock's one of the guys on the Rangers that has opted in on the torpedoes. I think that he is going to come around, but it's not looking great right now. Like Berger, I mean, Berg's at 129, Jock's at 120 right now. You'd like to see him get off to a better start than this, but you know what? When the Rangers have won 7 out of 9 ball games, these things don't matter quite as much. I did say last night on the live, when the Rangers start having some rough performances from the pitching and they start dropping a few games here and there, some of these performances are going to be magnified. And you just hope that before that happens, they figure it out and it's not an issue. But you start losing a couple of games, you're going to start looking at some of these box scores, some of these stat lines a lot harder. You win 6-4 thanks to Wyatt Langford. You're 7-2, best record in the AL. And you're not going to be quite as upset about some of these guys that are hitting in the low ones right now. I couldn't watch the first half. The stats don't look great for deGrom. How'd he look? Aggie Zach, what's good? I think deGrom actually, I mean, I watched his first 4 innings, then was out and about, listening to the game on the radio, running around, getting dinner, running errands, that kind of stuff with the fam. But I heard a lot of the game in the late half and then would pull up replays on my phone of anything big and important. But I did sit and watch deGrom's first 4 innings. Really looked like there were some pitches that he wasn't commanding as well. And you could see he was a little frustrated with himself at times out there on the mound, just not locating pitches exactly how he wanted to. Now, that being said, still got some strikeouts, still got some swing and miss tonight. Only 3 strikeouts, though. 2 homers allowed for Jacob deGrom, just not like him. Right? This is not a stat line you're going to see very much. I think we got to give the dude some grace. He is still coming off of a year where he almost the entire season was in rehab, recovering from Tommy John surgery. He got 1 month in the big leagues under his belt. He had a whole offseason. He had spring training. I think you're going to have to give deGrom a little bit of grace. You're not going to see a stat line like this from him very often. And look, he was 1 out away from a quality start. I mean, if Webb comes in and doesn't give up that base knock, deGrom's final line is 3 earned runs. And if he goes 1 more out, you're looking at 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. And I think, it was a little bit, I don't want to say frustrating, but I definitely felt like deGrom could have pitched and finished out that 6th inning. I didn't love the move to go to Jacob Webb, but I know that they're playing around with a lot of different things. deGrom was at 82 pitches. Look, I'm going to take Jacob deGrom versus anybody. I really would have liked to have seen deGrom finish out that inning get one more batter there. Maybe he pushes the total to the high 80s. You got to think they were maybe a little bit conscious about the pitch count today. Bochy did say pre-game that they wanted to see 6 or 7 innings out of deGrom, so didn't quite get to it. Although I think deGrom probably escapes the inning if they do let him continue to pitch. I know it was getting a little bit dicey there in the top of the 6th. Here was kind of the sequence. deGrom got a quick out. Brandon Lau flew out to center field. He hit a home run off of deGrom earlier. DeLuca singled. He is freaking fast as all get out. So he stole second. Then you had the home run. Aranda with the homer made it a 4-3 ball game. Then you had a ground out. Danny Jansen grounds out. So you got bases empty, 2 out. And then you had a double. And that was pretty much on a rope to right field. And it's at that point that they decided to pull him. So runner on second, 2 out. For me, I would prefer to have deGrom in there. Again, there's really nobody in the Rangers bullpen that I'd rather have than Jacob deGrom if you're just saying one AB. So, look, deGrom, I know the stat line doesn't look awesome today, but again, one of the runs scores thanks to Jacob Webb allowing a double pretty much immediately after replacing Jacob deGrom. Jacob Webb would go on to get out of the inning. But my point is, this is definitely not an ideal line for deGrom, but probably not as bad as how it looks. And I think that you have to consider dude still getting back into the swing of things, didn't have a full season, only had 1 month last year. I think deGrom's going to be fine. Definitely didn't command things well tonight and still almost came away with a quality start. So surely hope nobody's hitting the panic button on Jacob deGrom right now. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 people a little bit worried about it, but it's going to be fine. You get the win today, and you don't really have to nitpick quite as much. You know deGrom, being the competitor that he is going to do that plenty. Go back, watch the tape, get better. But this is how good Jacob deGrom is. That's how I frame this. Dude had, I don't know what you want to call it, B stuff, maybe even C stuff. I bet deGrom would say it was C stuff today and still almost pitches a quality start. I mean, this is how good Jacob deGrom is. All right, we keep going. Let me get to YouTube here. I know I haven't been checking these comments as much right now. What do I think about EC not being in a game for 3 nights in a row? So I tweeted about this earlier today. Evan Carter, he's missed the last 2 games at Round Rock. And I said, it's either they're giving him a mental break or he's hurt. And they did come out today and say that he's dealing with a personal matter. And I think he's going to be back in the lineup tomorrow. So Evan Carter dealing with something personal. I don't know if it's a family thing. They really didn't get specific, but that's why he's been missing. So we'll see him tomorrow, supposedly. So that made me feel a little bit better from a baseball perspective. Obviously, we hope that Evan Carter is doing okay, his family doing okay. That's more important than anything else. But I definitely was thinking to myself from a baseball perspective, glad that it's not because he's injured. Glad that it's not because he is just doing that poorly in the coach's eyes. They needed to give him a mental day off. All right, we keep going here. Let's see. Trying to catch up here. Austin, what's good, man? How's it going? Glad to see the leadoff home run from Simeon, 100%. Me too. Man, I hope. I've been saying this every time Simi gets a hit. He had a hit last night. He goes 1 for 3 with a walk. I tweeted out, like, who is this Marcus Semien, man? He's hitting a homer and he's taking a walk. And Simi, I feel like, just doesn't walk enough. And so to see him go yard and be patient up at the plate today, breath of fresh air for sure. Harry says, I think we may see Evan Carter retire early. Geez, I hope not. That escalated quickly. I surely hope that we do not have an Evan Carter retirement announcement. But I will say this. I'm not going to go all the way with you, but I do just think back issues. You're 21 years old. I said it a lot last year. I really hope that the time off totally gets him back to 100%. And I don't think that there's any reports out there to suggest that he's not. But I do think to have these kinds of back issues, multiple back issues, before you turn 22 years old, it's just tough. It really is. We keep going. What's good, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Thoughts on Wyatt getting MVP votes by the end of the season? Sam, what's good, man? If you're still hanging out, I don't know. I think MVP votes, we start throwing MVP. I know I throw Cy Young out there with Evo all the time. Yeah, why not? Wyatt Langford MVP. Let's start the campaign. Shoot. Again, why not, right? Wyatt definitely playing the part tonight, that's for sure. MVP of the game, no doubt. I think Wyatt Langford, if he continues to do some of the things that he's been doing all spring and then into the season, sure, absolutely. I mean, you got to think Corey Seager and some of those guys are going to heat up at some point, but it might be Wyatt. It really might be. He might be the dude this year. I mean, I think Seager is going to come around. But I think Wyatt Langford probably going to be the offensive leader of this team based on what I'm seeing so far. Could totally be wrong. And we know Seager goes on one of those heaters at least a couple of times a year. Last year, it was like the 8 or 9 home runs in 8 games or something like that. It was something ridiculous. So we know Corey Seager's got one of those runs in him where he just reminds everybody that he's still one of the best baseball players on the planet. But I do have a feeling that Wyatt Langford is probably going to be the offensive leader of the 2025 season for the Rangers when the dust settles. We keep going. John, what's up, man? The people on third with less than 1 out not getting a run is painful. Look, I don't love to rail on guys after a win, but, and they know it. But Semien and Seager in that 7th inning striking out back-to-back, just was painful. I mean, it's well said. It was painful, especially Seager. You've got 1 out. Siegs, he's a professional up there, man. I mean, he does the right things when the right things are needed. I know that that's super cliche, but I think all y'all diehards know what I mean. Like you trust Seager up there to be smart, to know the situation. I've got to elevate here, and I've got to get this ball in the air to the outfield. You've got Kevin Pillar on third base. It's not even like you've got to hit it to the track. And Kevin Pillar is going to score on a ball that's a little bit deep. It doesn't even have to be back there all the way at the dirt. Just send it out there a little bit. Kevin Pillar is going to score. So Corey Seager, I mean, clearly it's a tough sport for a reason. I think it's the most difficult sport to play in the world. Baseball is. But just not on tonight. Corey just not looking comfortable up there. 2 Ks, 0 for 4. I'm a little worried about Siegs, but we got a slow start from him last year, and then he started cooking in May. So my take on Seager is let's get through April. If he is still doing this in May, yeah, it's time to panic. But last year it was slow April, and then the dude just set May on fire. With that run of homers and 8 or 9 games that he had, it was ridiculous. So I am of the mindset Siegs is going to be fine. Just got to give him time. Keep going here. Rangers have a winning record with a -2 run differential. And that is funny. I mean, we all know, Gio, what's good, by the way? We all know why the run differential is what it is, because you got absolutely waxed on Monday night in Cincinnati. But it is kind of funny to have the best record in the American League with a negative run differential. That's how baseball go, as the great Ron Washington would say. That is how baseball go. Wyatt's on fire. Love to see it. Absolutely. 100%. Zach, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, Sam, totally. Look, I was just having some fun, but I do think Wyatt's going to have to boost the stats a little bit more than what he is currently. And look, it's 9 games in, but you win MVP, you get MVP votes, you figure he's probably got to be over 25 bombs and probably over 100 RBI. It's nice that you don't have Shohei Ohtani in the American League because, I mean, how do you just not keep giving it to Shohei, especially in a year where he's going to be pitching? Aaron Judge, he's already doing special things. It's going to be tough, but Getting votes, I think, would be a huge accomplishment. Absolutely. Keep going. Hopefully the front office will get a deal done with Wyatt early this year. I must say, like what they did with Merrill over in San Diego, I think that what they did with Jackson Merrill, that's huge. I would love if they could do something with Wyatt Langford similar as what they did with Jackson Merrill out in San Diego. I think the Padres locking up a dude like that, it's huge. And right now, Wyatt's at a place where you know that he is going to be a good ball player. He's not going to totally fall off. He's got some intangibles. He's got power. He's got bat speed. He's got speed on the base pass and out in the outfield. I really do hope that they at least are talking with the agent, seeing what they can get done. I mean, I don't know what Merrill's deal was, but the AAV was pretty nice. Like, it was not bad at all. I'm going to look up that Padres contract that Merrill just signed, see if I can get the news up real quick. $135 million and how many years? 9 years, $135 million for Merrill. That's an outstanding deal. That's an outstanding deal for Merrill. I mean, so what he's making, I'm trying to do the fast math, y'all. He's making what, 15 million a year? I mean, for Jackson Merrill, I think that is an outstanding deal. You're getting Merrill for the next 9 years at $15 million a year. Now, I don't know why it's got in his mind, what the agent's got in his mind, but if you can get Wyatt Langford on a 9-year deal at $15 million a year, you take that every time. Take it every time. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But I think that you got to at least approach the agent. At least. I think Wyatt probably at this point, major league scouts, executives around the league, I would think that they probably would value Langford over Merrill at this point with potential. But I don't really know what Wyatt Langford's number would be. Don't even know if the subject has been talked about between team and agent. But you should at least be knocking at the door. Keep going. Austin, please don't be like the Cowboys. Get his deal done early, right? Don't wait until the bitter end with Wyatt Langford. If you go out there and you offer a player early, the player doesn't always say yes, but I do think it goes over a lot better than when you draw it out and drag it out until the dude only has 1 year of control left. I think some guys are going to be very willing to sign a deal like that early for that lifetime security. I mean, I'm sorry, $135 million, life-changing money right there. I mean, at what point do you say I'm not going to be too greedy? I know that an injury, I know I could fall off. Not to rub this in at all, so I don't bring this up for any other reason, but to cite an example, look at Joey Gallo. Some of my longtime Rangers fans, look at Joey Gallo. I mean, Joey, back in 2018, had an opportunity to sign a really nice deal with the Texas Rangers. And Joey Gallo wanted to test the market. He was an all-star. He did the home run derby. He was having a pretty good year. And remember, he was kind of having like an MVP type year. He was getting talked about in the MVP conversation, and then he got injured. And then the Rangers trade him at the trade deadline. He goes to New York and has never been the same since. And now Joey Gallo trying to be a pitcher. Joey Gallo not signing that deal with Texas, I'm sure that gives him nightmares. And that is, I think, a prime example of why a lot of guys, I think, will be willing to sign a deal like that. You're going to offer 9-10 years of security. I'm going to be getting paid $15 to $20 million a year. I mean, you can be greedy. It does depend on the agent that you have. And you got to know your talent and your ability. I mean, if you're a Bryce Harper type, yeah, maybe you do hold out. I mean, I think you got to know your capabilities for sure. But look, when you know that a lot of your time initially in the league, like 7 years of control, right? So if you know you got that, why not sign a 9-year deal? You're going to be club controlled for the next 5 or 6 years anyways. Now you got 3 or 4 more years added onto that. You can still test the market. Like, I don't know how old Merrill is going to be when he's a free agent in 9 years, probably early 30s. He could probably still get a contract. So I think that a lot of players, and you've seen this happen with a number of young studs. Think about Fernando Tatis. That dude signed a pretty big contract, and that was signed early on. He's not going to be a free agent for a long time. So we'll see. I'm definitely a fan of it. Keep going. Love the hoodie. Where did I get this hoodie? I want to say that my dad picked this up for me when he was down in Texas visiting some family. I'm almost 100% on that. Dad, if you're watching, let me know. I'm almost 100% that I got this from him. He was down in Texas, picked it up from a sporting goods store. A lot of my stuff's from Fanatics, but I want to say this one was actually from a real deal store. All right, let me keep going. Will Carter be back? Kevin, did you hear what I said about Carter earlier? I'll summarize quickly. Evan Carter's been out with a personal issue, solving a personal matter. I don't know. They didn't get very specific. I definitely hope everything's okay with Evan Carter, but I'm glad it's not an injury, and I'm glad that it's not because they think he is having some mental issues and needed a mental day. So I think that we hope Evan Carter is all right. Nothing crazy going on with the family or personal life, but I think a little bit of a sigh of relief from a baseball perspective. Keep going. Mike, what's good, man? Where do I think Bigfoot fits in the Rangers rotation? Nice. Yeah, look, Rangers rotation kind of stacked right now. Don't know if he's going to have a long-term spot or not. All right, let me keep going. Yeah, no problem at all. No problem at all. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate the follow, by the way. I've seen a couple of y'all follow since. Means a lot. I'm trying to get caught up. I really am. I know I've missed quite a bit. How about sending Leote to AAA for Evan Carter? I don't know how much better you're going to get doing that. I said it last night. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Smith play a little outfield sometimes instead of Leote out there. I know Leote hasn't had a absolutely terrible start to the season, but he was 0 for 2 tonight. He's hitting 167. Like, when Josh Young comes back, at what point do you say, Wyatt, you're playing center field, and Josh Smith, get your butt out in left field? Like, we just got to have you in the lineup. I do think that absolutely needs to be a consideration. 100%. Keep going. Appreciate. All right, I think I'm caught up for the most part. Some of the Rangers hitters do look lost. I totally agree. Rough start to the season for some of them. Look, glad to be 7-2, but let's not run away from the obvious. There are some hitters that are struggling right now. Adolis Garcia, 0 for 2. He did take a walk tonight. You had Josh Smith, 3 walks. I'm just going up and down the box score. Josh Smith, man, he just finds a way to get on base and mix it up. I put out a video earlier today. Just the X factor of this team, honestly. 3 walks for Josh Smith. That sounds like a really good leadoff hitter. Just throwing that out there. I know Marcus Semien had a good game today, but I really would not mind seeing Josh Smith hit leadoff. I don't know if that time is ever going to come this year. I know Marcus Semien is kind of the leadoff hitter that you signed for the big contract a few years ago, but at what point do you say, let's give Josh Smith a shot? Let Simi be more of a true RBI guy. I've always said with Marcus, if you're going to be leadoff, I totally get being aggressive, but you've got to be a guy that can take walks. Josh Smith, 3 walks tonight. Not that Josh was over 100 walks last year, but I think Josh a little bit more patient up at the plate than Marcus. Not saying that Josh is a better hitter than Marcus right now, But I do think that Josh is a little bit more of your prototypical leadoff hitter. Got a little bit of speed. I would say some sneaky speed. He can swipe a bag. Didn't he steal a base tonight? Or was that last night? Yeah, he stole a base tonight, his second one of the season. So I don't know. It's something that the Rangers might want to think about if anybody's tuning in. All right, let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going. Appreciate it. I do agree. It feels like Josh Smith can play just about anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't love him in center, and you really need a guy with a cannon out there in right. So I think left is about the only place you probably want to play Josh. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I'd feel pretty comfortable with him at third, short, second. Don't think you want Josh over at first. I would much prefer to have a bigger body over there. But yeah, Josh pretty much, I mean, he's got second, short, third, and left field on lock. And that's pretty impressive. Keep going. Wyatt 1 and Smith at 2. I probably would have gone flip-flop on that. I would like to see Josh Smith at 1, Wyatt at 2, and then from there you go Seager, and then you go Doley, or you go Jock, and then maybe Marcus hits 5th or 6th. I think at this point, that's what I'd probably like to see, but they don't pay me the big bucks. That's what Bruce Bochy's for. He is a World Series championship winning coach. I guess we'll trust his opinion, but that's what I would like. I'd probably rather see Wyatt hit 2, move Siegs back to 3. You just want those guys that get on base, getting more ABs up at the top of the order. I like the speed. Both of them are stolen base threats. Either way, I mean, if you had Wyatt lead off and then you had Smitty at second, I'd take that too. Honestly would. I do think moving Seager back to the 3 spot, it would be beneficial. I know that they love the 1-2 Simi Sieg, but I would much prefer Corey Seager to be in the 3 hole and get Wyatt Langford up there, get Smith up there, and mix it up a little bit. But let's see how it plays out. I definitely don't think you blow up the lineup right now. You're winning. I don't blow up the lineup right now, but you just hope that some of these guys get off the schneid, really lock in. Simi had a great game tonight. Let's hope that it carries over into tomorrow. Keep going. 6-4 Rangers. You think they should run away with this division? Jonathan, what's good, man? Thanks for tuning in. I think that the Rangers are going to have some ups and downs this year. I don't think it's always going to be as good as this. I do think they ultimately win the division by probably 3 games. I would say 3 is probably a comfortable number for me. I don't think it's going to be double digits. I would be really surprised if it was like 7, 8, or 9. I would say maybe high end, they win it by 5 or 6 games, but my prediction would be they end up winning it by about 3. And who knows? If you get some of these other teams cooking, you don't know who they're going to get at the deadline. I really feel like it's going to end up being a little bit of a tighter division than how it's shaping up right now. I mean, you look right now at where things are at. The Angels are 2 games out, and the Mariners and the Astros are in last place. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. I think the Mariners and the Astros are going to be all right. Looks like the Angels are winning. So if they win tonight, then they'll be a game and a half out still. So look, I think that this is actually going to end up being a little bit of a tighter division. That's just me. But I do think that the Rangers end up winning it. And I've said multiple times over the course of the offseason, I think they end up winning 93, 94 games this year. I think it's going to be more than the World Series year. Definitely going to be over 90 games. I think this team is too good pitching. Even the bullpen, a little bit slept on. And then the offense is just better than this. They have better hitters than what they're showing right now. I can't lie to you. I'm a little bit worried about the offense, but I absolutely think that you're going to get some of these guys out of their funk. Maybe not everybody, but I think a fair amount of them are going to come out of this eventually. Seager, I would really like to think Marcus Semien is going to bounce back. You know, I don't know about guys like Jonah Heim. I'm not sure if we're going to see bounce back years from him. he might not even really get an opportunity to do that with how well Kyle Higashioka is playing. Granted, he was 0 for 4 tonight. Did any of y'all find it interesting that Higgy has been the only catcher for both Evo and deGrom? I don't know if anybody asked Bochy about that, but I just kind of find it interesting that Kyle Higashioka is catching the two aces on the staff. Jonah Heim didn't catch either one of Evo's starts, and he hasn't caught either one of deGrom's starts either. So I think Higgy might be the preferred option at this point. I mean, you would think if you prefer to catcher one over the other, you're having him catch your best pitchers. So maybe Heim falling out of favor a little bit. I know Bochy is going to pass it off as like a big nothing burger, but I got to think there's something to that. You're having Higgy catch both deGrom and Evo, both of their starts. I got to think that there's something there. And I feel for Jonah. Obviously started the 2023 All-Star game, won a Gold Glove, won a World Series. Baseball can be a cruel game. What have you done for me lately? I think Jonah's still going to get his opportunities, and I hope that he uses it really, really well when he gets them. But so far, it does seem like Higgy is the favored one. Let's keep going. Seager, Simeon are notorious for bad Aprils. Gary, good point. We do need a catcher who can throw out base runners 100%. It's so frustrating. You basically feel like every single time there's a stolen base attempt, it's going to be safe. And look, DeLuca running tonight for Tampa, you're not going to catch DeLuca a whole lot. I mean, that dude can fly. He was safe on that infield hit. Josh Smith actually made a really good play at third base on a little dribbler down the third baseline from DeLuca, but you're just not going to catch that dude. He's so fast. So, look, I give Higgy a little bit of grace with DeLuca running, but it hadn't been good. It has not been good defending the steal for Rangers catchers. So, look, it's probably not going to get a whole lot better. I don't think there's like a magic fix here, but at least Higgy calling a good game for the pitchers and hopefully contributing with the bat here and there. Oh, yeah. Y'all see Nate Lowe behind. I miss Nate Lowe a lot, too. I really do. I'm glad he's having a good year for Washington. Look, there's no ill will at all when Rangers guys leave. It would take a lot for me to wish poorly upon a Rangers player that decides to go to another team. I don't know. Maybe y'all let me know if you got anybody, a Rangers player that left in free agency or something like that, and you just never wanted to see them do well. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one a little bit more, but I wish nothing but the best for Nate Lowe. Glad that he's off to a good start. He's got 3 or 4 homers already. A part of me, the bitter negative part of me is like, dude, why couldn't you do that for us in April? Like, we could have used that last April, man. But that's how it goes sometimes. Like, sometimes you need a change of scenery. Sometimes you need a new spot and you suddenly start taking off. Maybe that's how it's going to be for Nate Lowe and the Washington Nationals. Wish him nothing but the best. Nothing but the best. We keep going. All right. What else we got? Garver. Lowe was traded. Yeah, I mean, I know Lowe was traded, so it's a little bit different. But nevertheless, guys that left the Rangers, let's just generalize it a little bit. Guys that left the Rangers who you wished ill will on. Maybe I think A-Rod would be in the mix for some people, I'm sure. Although growing up, when A-Rod first came to the Rangers, I absolutely idolized that guy. I mean, the steroids definitely took a little bit of a hit in my book, but I remember as a high school kid when A-Rod was signed, I love that dude. Was my favorite Ranger player by far. Took it hard when he got popped with the steroids and started obviously complaining about being in Texas. So I think he might be on people's list for guys that you don't wish do well after leaving Texas, but I don't know. Drop it in the comments. Favorite Ranger all time is probably Josh Hamilton. Josh Hamilton's probably my favorite Ranger all time. The 2008 home run derby. I mean, look, I could go on and on about Hambone, But the home run in game 6, the 2-run bomb that puts us up in extra innings. I could go off on this forever. Gives me chills thinking about the home run. Obviously it was such a huge moment, and you thought that homer was going to be what won the Rangers their very first World Series until the bottom half of that inning happened. And we're not going to go any further than that. But I think Hambone would have gone down had that home run held up and won the Rangers the World Series. He probably would have gone down as the most legendary Rangers player in Rangers history. I mean, I know there's some iconic Rangers players. You win a team their first World Series on a 2-run bomb in extra innings. I definitely think that would have been totally changing how everybody views Josh Hamilton. And it's sad to me that he was kind of robbed of that. I could go on and on about this. It fires me up. I just feel so bad Hambone didn't get that moment. Deserved it. Keep going. Michael Young's a good one. Michael Young's a really good one. Absolutely. Ian Kinsler, he did become a Gold Glover. Look, I love so many Rangers players. So I know that sometimes when I do somebody asks me, who's your favorite Ranger? And you say Hamilton, some people get mad, like, what? Pudge, Nolan Ryan? It's like I love all these guys. I can't really choose, but if you're going to put me on the spot, that's the guy for me. And I just always wonder with Hambone too, had that guy not gotten into trouble, the drugs, drinking, substance stuff, what if he would have just had a completely healthy lifestyle and career? What would Josh Hamilton's numbers be right now? I think about that often. What would that man's numbers be having played from when he was drafted all the way to maybe late 30s? What kind of numbers would that man have put up? Keep going. A lot of Evan Carter talk. Evan Carter missing a couple of games, 3 games, dealing with a personal issue. Hasn't been disclosed what it is, but supposedly he'll be back tomorrow. You were at fair ball. You were at Yankee Stadium for that home run derby. Dude, that must have been crazy. I was watching on TV and it gives me chills thinking about that home run derby, but to be there live, lifelong memory. Like I've told y'all a million times, I was at game 1 in 2023 Rangers World Series game 1, the Seager home run. Like I'll never forget that scene when he hit that bomb right when it came off the bat, the noise. I was up in kind of up in the upper deck out in left field, foul territory, and the whole freaking ground is like rocking because everybody's jumping. Like I'll never forget that. I can only imagine what 2008 home run derby would have been like. Do I regret the Chapman trade? No, because it won us a World Series, but it is painful seeing Cole Reagans kill it. I mean, Reagans, I think another guy we talked about, Joey Gallo, the change of scenery, how it didn't go so well for him going to New York. But then you talk about Nate Lowe, a change of scenery. So far, so good for Nate Lowe. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it doesn't always go great. But Cole Reagans, I do think, change of scenery, different coaches. In fact, I think I remember reading about Cole Reagans when he got to Kansas City. They started tweaking a little bit with some of his mechanics. And I think it's what ultimately ended up unlocking him, or so it goes. Maybe some of the Rangers organizational people would argue with that. Like they were responsible for it and he finally pieced it all together and it clicked. But that's what I remember reading is when Cole Reagans got to KC, they started tweaking with the mechanics and that's really what unlocked him. But, you know, everybody's going to try and claim credit when a guy lights it up like that. So who knows the real story? He could have been a Hall of Famer for sure, Gary. Totally agree. Consider signing Wyatt long-term now. Yeah, Gary, we were talking about that, I think, before you popped in. So I would love to see that. You saw Jackson Merrill get signed by the Padres, 9-year deal, $135 million. I do think if you talk to people around the league, Wyatt Langford ceiling probably a little bit higher than Merrill's, although Merrill had an outstanding year last year. Outstanding year. Not taking away anything from him. But I bet if you talk to executives around the league, the scouts around the league, I think Wyatt is going to get rated a little bit more highly than Merrill. Long term, what does he project? But I think it was put in the YouTube comments, if I'm not mistaken. I forget who it was. I'm going to scroll back up a little bit. Oh, it was Zach. Zach said maybe try and do like a $200 million 10-year deal. Like, I think Wyatt, if you can get him right in between 15 to 20 million on a 9 or 10-year deal, that'd be huge. Like, I think the Merrill contract is kind of your base, 9-year, 135. Maybe you go 9-year, 150, 9-year, 175, something like that. I think that is going to be a great foundation for a lot of these young guys that are killing it right now and have a ton of years of club control left. But big fan of it. And if I was playing, I think I would probably be a big fan of it as well. I mean, you never know until you get into the situation, but you're going to pay me $15 to $20 million a year for the next 9, 10 years guaranteed. Yes, please sign me up. I know that they got the agents in their ear and not everybody ends up making that decision. And of course, a lot of these guys have insurance policies that they've taken out on themselves if they do get injured or if they don't make it to that big contract. But you get a $200 million, a 10-year, $200 million deal. If you're Wyatt Langford, I feel like that's got to be pretty hard to pass up. I mean, he's going to be under club control for what, another 6 years anyways, 5 or 6 years. So you are only going over a few more years, and he's still going to be early 30s by the time he gets out of that contract. Why not? I definitely would try and get him long-term if I could. Adam, what's good, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Mateo, man. Yes, sir. I will never forget game 1 of the World Series, the best game I've ever been to in my life, and I don't think any baseball game I will ever go to will top it. I mean, I'd have to go watch Jacob deGrom pitch a perfect game in a World Series, something like that. Like, literally, I think that might be one of the only things you watch deGrom or Evo pitch like a perfect game in the World Series. That might top the Corey Seager home run heroics and the Adolis Garcia 11th inning walk-off heroics in that game. That's what's crazy. Everybody remembers, the Corey Seager bomb. And I do think that was the bigger moment of the two. But then Adolis comes up and hits the bomb to win it in the 11th. Like, the game wasn't over. They still could have lost in extras. Dolly with the Oppo Taco to win that game. It was a classic game. You're never going to top that. It would have to be something crazy special like what I just said. Jacob deGrom pitches a perfect game in the World Series, and Wyatt Langford hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th. The game's tied 0-0. I don't know. I'm just cooking up scenarios at this point. It would take a lot. What about Josh Smith? What about him? I love Josh Smith. Thought he played great today. 3 walks. Continues to be a spark plug for the Rangers, the X factor that they really need right now with the lineup struggling a little bit. Absolutely. Yeah, Seawald has never really been the same since that pitch, I don't feel like. I mean, he was not the same guy in that series. And it was crazy because he was killing it in that postseason. Seawald was killing it. I remember being in my seat and Seawald's warming up, and I was just thinking to myself, this is going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough to tie this game with Paul Sewald in. And I think Corey Seager might have broke him. I really do. Oh, my goodness. Let's go Rangers indeed. Texas Ranger 99, what's good? Yeah, totally. The Bruce Bochy effect. Yes, sir. It's an odd year. It's an odd year, guys. All right, let me go back to YouTube. Make sure I don't miss any of y'all. Austin, if a player leaves, I like them as long as they don't go to the Astros. Yeah, I don't think I could cheer. Like when Robinson Chirinos went to the Astros, y'all remember that? When Chirinos went to the Stros, yeah, I wasn't cheering for him. Nope, was not cheering for him. You know, if he hit like a bomb or something and I saw a highlight and they were playing, the Yankees or somebody meaningless, man, I'd be like, oh, good for him. But yeah, big picture, no. Wasn't cheering for Chirinos when he went to play for the enemy. Don't like, Zach says, don't like Higgs missing all those balls yesterday. Too many pass balls. Yeah, I think that he absolutely would like to have a couple of those back. I don't think Higashioka is the best defensive catcher. I really think that at this point, they just needed to inject some offense into that situation. We'll see. See what happens. Yeah, Harry, I want to come back to this. I don't know if you're still hanging out. Harry says I'm worrying too much and reading way too much into the catcher situation. There's no favorite. Bochy told us it's a 50-50 split. Yeah, I don't know. I think we might have to agree to disagree with that. You would think with your aces, deGrom and Evo, maybe you would be having Heim catch a little bit in there at some point. I don't know. I think that there is a real thing to guys have their preferences when it comes to who's behind the dish. It's just a little odd to me that he hasn't caught either one of those guys yet this season. Maybe Evo's next start, we'll see Jonah back there, and I'll be happy to eat crow. I had to do that with Jack Leiter. I didn't think he'd get off to this good of a start. I could definitely admit when I'm wrong, but it just makes me wonder. That's all. I don't think that there's anything more to it than that. We'll see what happens. Let me go back to this. Natalie says, long story short, but Hamilton was one of my favorite players. I was pretty young when those guys played, but I sent him a letter and he sent me back a signed card. That's awesome. I love stories like that when guys like actually take time, care about the fans. That's great. That is great. Absolutely. We keep going. Let me see what I got. Favorite Ranger of all time. We talked about that already a little bit. Josh Hamilton. Josh Hamilton for sure. Nicole says Josh Smith, his wife posts he doesn't have a contract. Should they extend him? I didn't see that post from his wife. You'll have to show me what. Is it Instagram? What post is that? I didn't see that, but I don't follow Josh Smith's wife on Instagram or on social media or anything like that. But I think that Josh is definitely going to be a guy that you want to stick around as long as he's under club control. I don't know if he's a guy that they're going to go out of their way to sign. Maybe, maybe not. I think Josh, being the kind of player that he is, clearly a lot of teams would be interested in him, his versatility, his bat. Look, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think Wyatt Langford's definitely higher on the priority list, but I'd love to see Josh Smith get signed. I kind of wondered if Josh Smith might be trade bait in the offseason. I'm glad that they didn't trade him. We need him. You've got Josh Young going down with an injury. Corey Seager doesn't appear to be at 100% health. It would have been a bad situation trading Josh Smith. I mean, who knows who you would have gotten in return, but I'm glad that they did not do that. Very glad that they did not let Josh Smith go in the trade market. Will Corbin pitch when Leiter was scheduled? I would think so. I would think that would be that would probably be the routine thing to do. Tomorrow, you've got Rocker throwing. Monday, it's still to be determined who's going on Monday in Chicago. I think Monday is Evo's spot. So you would think they probably go Evo on Monday and then they go Corbin on Tuesday. But right now it's to be determined. So perhaps tomorrow on Sunday, they'll announce the starter for Monday. But I would assume that we'll probably see Corbin in the Jack Leiter spot in the rotation, unless they're going to jumble it around a little bit, which they might do. So we'll see. Would I sign Wyatt long-term on a team-friendly deal? Oh, definitely. I don't think there's anything stopping me from doing that in my mind as I'm putting on the general manager hat. Like, why wouldn't you? I know that it's still early on, but if you can get a Jackson Merrill type deal, 100%, I would do it. Uh, it's gonna snow while they're in Chicago. Is that right? That'll be a trip. That would be an absolute trip if it's snowing for one of those games. Oh my goodness. Hey, it'll be a little fun, but yeah, I'm with you. It's kind of tough in some of these places up in the north in April, and it's still freezing cold. Hopefully, the Rangers will adjust while they're up there. I mean, they already had to go to Cincinnati. It was a little chilly up there, so I'm sure they'll be fine. But yeah, that's crazy. Snow in April. Art Chuck, what's good, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. We're just about to wrap things up here. I'm actually going to go to tomorrow's game. Let's check out a preview of the matchup. So it's Rasmussen versus Rocker. Rasmussen had a pretty good start last time out. There are a few guys that have ABs against Rasmussen. Berger's one of them. Berger is 2 for 4 with a bomb off Rasmussen in his career. Probable starter for the Rays tomorrow. Jonah Heim 1 for 2 with the home run. I would imagine we probably see Jonah tomorrow after Higgy back-to-back days. And then we've got a few other guys. Jock Peterson, I think he walked in his one at bat or one plate appearance against Rasmussen. Corey Seager is 0 for 1. Marcus Semien is 1 for 4. Josh Smith 1 for 2. Not a lot of sample size. Basically, one game is all that we have against Rasmussen. And then we've got on the other side, Rocker. Nobody's faced him. Hopefully, Kumar Rocker can piggyback off of what he did in his last start out. I mean, look, he had a little bit of a rough outing, but I saw some positive things. I know that maybe it sounds odd for me to say piggyback off the last start, but I don't think it was all terrible. I do think that Kumar Rocker's stuff is still there, but piecing it all together, that's going to be tough. I think that he absolutely has the capability of giving us a strong performance against the Rays. I think we're all going to be holding our breath a little bit, but watching his start all the way through, he had some good moments in the game, but you allowed way too many hits. He walked a couple of guys, and you've got to get more length than 3 innings. That being said, there were some positives. I know there were some negatives too, but I think that Kumar Rocker, my prediction is that he bounces back tomorrow, has a little bit of a better start than what he did. Won't be too difficult to do better than 3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. You would think he could improve off of that. Hopefully we can get the strikeout numbers up, limit the walks. I think Kumar comes out and has a better performance tomorrow. That's my prediction. Yeah, that to me, it did seem, it's interesting you say that. It did seem like there was a little bit more of a reliance on the fastball. Let me see if I can pull up Baseball Savant and see what the breakdown was on Kumar Rocker in his first outing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on the fly, y'all, but I am going to try. Let me see what we got here. So he, in his game, let me see here, 2025. There's so many stats on here. It is crazy. Okay. He threw the fastball 23 times, 32 sliders, 9 sinkers, 9 changeups, 1 curveball. That was the last outing? I think that's what I'm seeing. So, look, we'll have to see what he decides to do. A lot of fastball, a lot of slider. We will see what the breakdown is tomorrow when he steps on the hill. But again, probably not going to be too hard to best 3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. But Kumar Rocker's got great stuff. Just have to keep the guys off of the bases. That is the name of the game, is it not? All right, y'all. I think I'm about to take off here. I appreciate all of y'all hanging out. Is it me, or do you think the Rangers need to sign another big bat? I just wish the bats that they had would get going, right? We've got plenty of big name, like solid name bats. Can the bats we have get going? I mean, I think if you have a couple of these guys start hitting, the need to sign somebody else probably goes out the window. It does feel like the Rangers need somebody else to step up, that's for sure. But I don't think they need to go out and get anybody at this point. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to call it a night. I'll be back tomorrow to give you a little series wrap up. Rangers win their third series in a row, 3 for 3 on the season. We'll be going for the sweep tomorrow with Kumar Rocker on the bump. Wyatt Langford plays hero tonight. Jacob deGrom, 1 out away from a quality start. The box score a little deceiving. deGrom wasn't at his best, but still almost came away with the quality start. That's how good Jacob deGrom is. Wyatt Langford, player of the game, 2-run bomb in the 7th inning, gives the Rangers the 6-4 lead, and that is how the game would end. We'll be back tomorrow hoping for another Rangers dub. Maybe Kumar Rocker getting a quality start. I'm just speaking these things into existence right now. But hope to see y'all tomorrow. If I don't, we'll be back for the Cubs series. Probably try and do a couple of lives. Absolutely. We will wrap things up with the Cubs series on Wednesday, but we'll try and go live Monday or Tuesday as well. Thank you so much for all of the comments, the questions. I appreciate it. Helps keep the show fresh. If you know somebody that's a diehard, you know somebody that loves baseball, loves the Rangers, please share one of my videos with them. Go to one of my accounts, one of my social medias, and send them a video. I would really, really appreciate continuing to grow this great group of people we got talking Rangers ball. I love it. And it's why I started this to begin with. So thank you for your support. Very, very grateful. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Saturday night. Thank you to everybody that's followed so far. Turn those notifications on. Get notified anytime we go live so you don't miss it. I think if you're on TikTok, go ahead and hit that top left, tap right on Rangers. And then from there, I think it's down a little bit. Hit notifications, turn on all so you never miss a live. YouTube, I don't know, what is it? Still the notification bell? You do your thing. You guys are smart. You'll figure it out. Love y'all. Have a good rest of the night. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say to end every show, God bless